Few books have changed the way people think about suffering, purpose, and human resilience as profoundly as Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning. Written by a psychiatrist who survived some of the most brutal Nazi concentration camps during World War II, the book is not merely a memoir. It is a deep exploration of what keeps a human being alive when everything else has been taken away. Frankl entered the camps as a doctor, a husband, a son, and a man with dreams. Within a short time, nearly all of those identities were stripped from him. His possessions disappeared. His professional status vanished. His family was separated from him. His future became uncertain. He was reduced to a number. Yet what Frankl discovered in those unimaginable conditions became the foundation of one of the most powerful ideas in psychology. Human beings can endure almost any suffering if they can find meaning in it. The first lesson emerges almost immediately. Life can change faster than we imagine. One day you may have plans, security, and certainty. The next day everything can disappear. Frankl watched educated professionals, wealthy businessmen, respected community leaders, and ordinary workers all enter the camps together. The camp did not care who they had been before. Status vanished overnight. This teaches a difficult truth. Much of what we believe defines us is temporary. Wealth can disappear. Careers can end. Titles can be lost. External identity is fragile. If our entire sense of self depends on external circumstances, we become vulnerable when those circumstances change. Frankl observed that suffering often follows a psychological pattern. At first, people experience shock. Reality feels unreal. The mind refuses to fully accept what is happening. This is a natural defense mechanism. Human beings need time to process extreme change. But eventually reality settles in. Then comes a second lesson. People are capable of adapting to almost anything. The camp subjected prisoners to conditions that would seem impossible to survive. Hunger became constant. Sleep was scarce. Fear was everywhere. Death was routine. Yet people adapted. This adaptation reveals something extraordinary about human nature. Human beings are far more resilient than they believe. The mind learns to function even in terrible circumstances. What initially appears unbearable often becomes survivable. Frankl noticed something surprising. Physical strength alone did not determine survival. Many strong people died. Many weak people survived. The difference often came from something less visible. Hope, purpose, meaning. This leads to perhaps the most famous lesson in the entire book. Those who had a reason to live often found the strength to endure. Some prisoners dreamed of seeing loved ones again. Others wanted to complete unfinished work. Some held on to religious faith. Others clung to personal missions. The future mattered. When a person lost all sense of future, they often began to decline rapidly. Once hope disappeared, physical deterioration frequently followed. Frankl realized that human beings need something ahead of them. We need a reason to get through today. Purpose acts like a psychological engine. Without it, the will weakens. One day, Frankl reflected deeply on his wife. He did not know whether she was alive or dead. Yet thinking about her gave him strength. He discovered that love transcends physical presence. This became another important lesson. Love is one of the highest forms of meaning available to human beings. Even in a place designed to destroy dignity, Frankl found moments where love elevated him above suffering. Through memory, imagination, and devotion, he connected to something greater than his immediate circumstances. He learned that a person can be physically imprisoned while remaining spiritually free. This idea leads directly to another powerful insight. Everything can be taken from a person except one thing: the freedom to choose their attitude toward a situation. Frankl repeatedly witnessed this truth. Some prisoners became cruel. Others became compassionate. Some stole from fellow prisoners. Others shared their last piece of bread. The circumstances were the same. The choices were different. This does not mean people controlled their environment. They clearly did not. But they still controlled how they responded to it. This lesson remains one of the book's most enduring messages. We cannot always choose what happens to us. We can choose how we meet it. Frankl also discovered that suffering itself is not necessarily meaningful. Pain alone does not make a person noble. Hardship alone does not create wisdom. Meaning comes from how we respond to suffering. Two people can experience the same tragedy. One becomes bitter. The other becomes stronger. One collapses. The other grows. The event is identical. The meaning is different. Frankl teaches that suffering becomes meaningful when it leads us toward courage, growth, responsibility, or love. Another lesson emerges from observing human behavior under pressure. Character is revealed in adversity. When life is comfortable, it is easy to appear virtuous. It is easy to be generous when resources are abundant. It is easy to be patient when nothing is at stake. True character appears when circumstances become difficult. Frankl watched ordinary people perform extraordinary acts of kindness despite starvation and fear. He also saw people surrender their principles for small advantages. The camps functioned as a harsh mirror of human nature. What emerged was not perfection. It was truth. He learned that every human being contains both potential goodness and potential selfishness. Circumstances influence behavior, but they do not fully determine it. Choice still matters. Frankl also noticed how dangerous despair can become. Many prisoners developed what seemed like an invisible illness. They stopped believing in tomorrow. They stopped imagining a future. They stopped caring. Once this happened, their condition often deteriorated quickly. The lesson is profound. The human spirit requires hope, not blind optimism, not fantasy. Hope, a realistic belief that life still contains possibilities worth pursuing. Without that belief, motivation fades, energy disappears, meaning evaporates. Frankl came to understand that life is constantly asking us questions. Most people think they are asking life for answers. Frankl reversed the idea. Life asks the questions. We answer through our actions. Every challenge becomes a question. How will you respond? Every hardship becomes a test. What kind of person will you become? Meaning is not something we simply discover. Meaning is something we create through responsible action. This insight became the foundation of Frankl's psychological approach called logotherapy. According to Frankl, the primary human drive is not pleasure. It is not power. It is meaning. People can tolerate discomfort if it serves a purpose. They can sacrifice convenience for significance. They can endure hardship when it contributes to something valuable. Many modern problems arise not from physical suffering, but from a lack of meaning. People feel empty despite comfort, restless despite success, lost despite freedom. Frankl called this the existential vacuum, a condition where people have everything except a reason for living. He believed many forms of anxiety, boredom, and despair emerge when people lose connection with purpose. The solution is not endless entertainment. The solution is meaning. Frankl identified several ways meaning can be found. One path is through meaningful work, creating something valuable, building something useful, contributing to the world. Another path is through love, deep relationships, connection, service, appreciation of others. A third path emerges through suffering. When suffering cannot be avoided, meaning can still be found in the way we face it. This final path is perhaps the most difficult, yet it is also the most inspiring. Frankl's own life became evidence of it. The camps took away almost everything, yet they could not take away his ability to find meaning. That choice remained his. Another important lesson concerns responsibility. Freedom alone is incomplete. Freedom must be paired with responsibility. We are free to make choices, but we are also responsible for those choices. Meaning grows when we accept responsibility for our lives instead of blaming circumstances. Frankl believed each person has unique tasks that only they can fulfill. No one else can live your life. No one else can answer your questions. No one else can fulfill your responsibilities. This uniqueness gives life significance. Your purpose may not look like someone else's purpose. That is perfectly fine. Meaning is personal. Frankl also challenges the modern obsession with happiness. He argues that happiness cannot be pursued directly. The more desperately people chase happiness, the more elusive it becomes. Instead, happiness emerges as a byproduct. When people pursue meaning, happiness often follows naturally. When people pursue happiness itself, they often end up frustrated. This reversal changes everything. Stop asking, "How can I be happy?" Start asking, "What meaningful responsibility is life asking me to fulfill?" The answer often leads in a better direction. Throughout the book, Frankl repeatedly demonstrates the extraordinary strength hidden within ordinary people. Human beings are capable of enduring more than they imagine. They are capable of finding purpose in darkness. They are capable of choosing dignity in degrading circumstances. They are capable of maintaining hope when logic suggests hopelessness. The concentration camps represented one of humanity's darkest chapters. Yet Frankl refused to let that darkness define the entire story. Instead, he focused on what it revealed about the human spirit, its resilience, its freedom, its capacity for meaning. In the end, man's search for meaning is not really about concentration camps. It is about life itself. It is about what happens when suffering arrives. It is about how we respond when plans collapse. It is about how we maintain dignity when circumstances become difficult. It is about discovering that meaning is not found in perfect conditions. Meaning is found in the choices we make within imperfect conditions. Frankl's ultimate lesson is both simple and profound. Life never stops having meaning. Not in success, not in failure, not in health, not in illness, not in comfort, not in suffering. The circumstances may change. The challenges may change. The questions may change. But meaning remains available. Always. The task of every human being is to find it, embrace it, and allow it to guide their response to whatever life places before them. That is the enduring message of Viktor Frankl's masterpiece. A person who has a reason to live can face almost any challenge. A person who discovers meaning can endure immense suffering. And a person who understands that meaning is always possible possesses a strength that no external force can completely destroy.